Hello, today we're going to talk about arrays in C Sharp. An array is one of the simplest data structures that can store a list of integers, strings, and any type of object sequentially in memory. In C Sharp, integers typically take 4 bytes of memory. We can access an item in the memory by its index, which is its address in the memory. Pros is constant time lookup big O of 1. Cons is arrays have a fixed size and we need to know the size of the array from the beginning before assigning it in memory. We must determine in advance how many items we want to store in an array. If uncertain, we may need to make a guess. If our guess is too large, we waste memory. If it's too small, our array fills up quickly. And to add another item, we have to resize the array. Resizing involves allocating a larger array and copying all the items from the old array to the new one. Insertion time complexity becomes big O of n. If uncertain about the size of an array and dealing with frequent insertions and deletions a lot, a linked list may be a more suitable alternative. Here we're going to have a dynamic array. We define a class, public class array, which has a variable named items, which is an array of integers, and we define it private. We also have another variable called count, which represents the count of items currently are in the array. Every time we insert an item, we increment the count. That's how we know how many items we have so far. Here's the constructor, which is public array int length. We're passing the length into it. Um, so whenever we want to define a new array, we're going to say, for instance, we want an array of size 5, and then we have to pass number 5 into this constructor. And in the constructor, we are instantiating the object of basically items that is array of integer. And we define the length in here. There are a few methods that are important in array, which is insert and print, remove at a specific index, and index of item if we need to find a number in the array, which we're going to talk about each of them later. First, we start with the insert. So we have a dynamic array. As the input grows, it will automatically resize, and this is how we're going to do that. If we didn't want to resize the array, if we needed to insert an item, we could simply just say items count plus plus equal to item. But here that basically this will add a new item at the end, but here we're resizing it. If let's say we reach to the point that the count is equal to the items dot length, then that's where we need to have a bigger array. And for doing that, we're creating a new array with double the size to accommodate resizing. We're saying, okay, this new one is new items, which is new int count multiply by 2 is the length. And we're copying all the existing item, having a for loop for int I less than count, I plus plus. And then we're putting whatever we have in the items into the new array, new items. And at the end, we're going to set items to this new array. We're going to say, okay, now the items should reference the new items from now on, and any operations that will be on the items later, it will apply basically to the new array that we defined. And at last, we're adding that new item to the end of the basically array. That was the insertion. And then for printing, if we need to print all the items that exist in the array for now, we can use a for loop for that. For int I is equal to 0, less than count, I plus plus console.writeLine, items I, This is a console application, simple console application, just to show how we can create a class array in C Sharp. And there's another way also to print out whatever we have in the items is using console.writeLine string.join, and then here we can have a space in between of each elements. The next method that's important in our class array is remove at a specific index. Removing an item from the last index is the best case, which will be the deletion will be in big O of 1. In the worst case, if you're removing an item from the first index in the array, we need to move all the remaining items to the left, resulting in big O of n operations for deletion. This will be a void method because we're not returning anything, we're just operating a deletion and at a specific index, and we're passing in the index that we want to remove element from. And first we validate the index. We say if index is less than 0 or index is greater than or equal to count, then throw an exception. If not, then we're gonna loop through starting from the index until basically end of the count of the item we have, and we are shifting everything one to the left. So we say put items I plus 1 into items I, because we are trying to remove basically item I. So from item I to the end of the array, shift everything one to the left with this. And at the end, we remove 1 from the count minus minus, which count right now represents the total number of items in the array, not the size of the array. The next operation is search operation. The runtime complexity of this method is big O of n. Best case, the item is at index 0, resulting in big O of 1. Worst case, the item is at the last index, resulting in big O of n. In the context of runtime complexity analysis, we consider the worst case scenario, making it big O of n. So here, because we're returning basically the index of the item, we're returning an integer and we're passing the item to it, and we name it index of. We're doing a for loop. We start from the 0 and less than count I plus plus. If items I is equal to item, then we return the index of that element. And if we find it, this for loop will return something. If we find it, return index. Otherwise, we'll return -1. If we see this, if we came this far, that means that item does not exist in our array. So this was all the important operations and important things related to defining an array class in C#. Hope you enjoyed it.